Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild. Building so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it. Goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live somebody. Let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because we have been on a very tough topic as of late. And there has been more developing information, more developing news and all that. So we definitely have got to talk about this article, okay? Now, there's some interesting, very disturbing information now that I have the full article. I gave you guys some snippets of it in this morning's show, but I felt obligated to give you guys more information, more of what is going on here, more of the truth of this monster, Jesse McFadden, and everything that transpired before this terrible tragedy that happened just last week, or just last week. So we got a lot to go through. This is a very big article. There's a lot of content, a lot of information in this article. Like I said before, I did touch on this on this morning's show, but there's so much more to this, with so much more details, so much more information, and I did want to share that with you guys here on this particular show. And then of course, I'm still waiting on apparently there's some new developments around this particular case, around this particular tragedy, that hopefully will be coming out as soon as we get done with this particular show. And when this show is over, trust me, I will either do a pop-up video or I will be doing a live to cover that story as well, or those developments as well. I ain't going to sleep until we get that information. I mean, unless there's nothing new that's been dropped. But allegedly, that information will be coming out very, very soon. Okay? So, we got to get into some things, guys. So, if you can, please do me a favor, some housekeeping. I see a bunch of y'all starting to file in. I appreciate you guys coming in. All right? Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching this show right now. Please hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes as you start to file in. That would really, really mean the world to me, okay? And please do not forget to crush that subscribe button. Also, if you've already hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you know when I go live, when I upload, and all that good stuff, okay? That'd be greatly appreciated. And of course, please don't forget to, if you want to support the channel, by all means, hit that join button down below. That'd really mean a lot as well, okay? Keeps these purple lights on, as I always say. Anyway, guys, hopefully you guys are all well. The day is treating you well, okay? For those of y'all who just wrapped up your day, hopefully it was a productive one, okay? It has been a wild one over on this end, just uncovering more and more information surrounding this particular case. And like I said, I was going to pull up this article and read it to you guys. I was going to do it as a pop-up, but then I decided, I'm just going to do this live. I'm just going to do it live, you know, because I feel like you guys appreciate the lives a lot more than my pop-up videos. So, hey, if I can get this to as many eyeballs as I can, that would be better than it just being a standalone video that only gets a few views. Okay. So I decided, let me just do this as a live so we can watch and read this together as a family, because there's a lot of information in here that is just shocking. And what I shared with you guys this morning is just the tip of the iceberg of the information that's out here. There are many pages here. Okay. It is a long article with a lot of content, with a lot of information. And I think you guys will really appreciate it, so that you guys can get a better, clearer understanding of who and what this monster was. Okay. I think we would all appreciate that. here's some of the article, okay, which we are going to be getting into in just a minute. And I do want to give some props and some love and some shout outs to two individuals. I Am Legacy on Twitter and Deets on the Streets on YouTube. Both of them showed up and showed out, helped me out with this, getting the content, getting the information. And I really, really do appreciate them for helping me out. By all means, please go follow I Am Legacy on Twitter. And also, please go subscribe to Deets on the Streets on YouTube. Okay. I'll make sure that their handles are in the descriptions at the end of this show. Okay. But I really wanted to get this article and share this article with you guys. And I think you guys will appreciate it. Some of you guys have read this already. Some of y'all have not. So I figured might as well, we'll watch it together. We can react to this because I wrote notes. I have notes and I have so many questions. So many questions that sparked from this article. Okay. So let's get into this. And real quick, Fuzz, thank you so much for the 5. Thank you for everything you do. You're the only person I can take bad news from. Wow. Well, thank you. I'm sorry. And thank you. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. Seriously, I'm joking. Okay. But be sure to hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, that'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. And yes, these kind of shows don't really get a whole lot of love under the sun. So I do appreciate the support. Okay, so Mandy C, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. Thank you so, so very much. Let's get into these articles, okay, or into this article, shall we? And it's a long one. It's a big article. So get comfortable, get your drinks and if you're watching them and the sun is rising, get your coffee, get comfortable because we got some reading to do. Okay. Some reading and reaction to do. And actually, let me sip on my juice real quick while I jump into this story. Okay. And we're going cover to cover, guys. So get ready. Okay. All right. So a year after R-ing a 17-year-old girl, it actually was 16-year-old girl at knife point, Jesse McFadden, the monster, wrote from prison that he had changed. Now, we already saw that letter, but I will pull it up as soon as we get through this segment, okay? Just so you can see the receipts, all right? So he wrote from prison that he had changed. He told the judge in a 2004 letter, that the future is all that's left to me because there's no changing the past. I know what I'd done was a horrible thing to do to another person, he wrote in his request for time off. It's for time off in his sentence. Okay. He continues saying, I feel very bad for what I've done. It's something I think about every day. I'd like to get out and prove that I've changed and am a better person. Despite those words at age 21, what emerges from court and prison records is a disturbing picture of a S-driven con man who only got worse as years went by and who blamed drugs and alcohol for what he said was the rubble that I've made of my life. His prison records also reveal he was an admitted racist. Now, real quick, before we go into that piece, okay, I want to show you guys the letter. Now, you guys saw this in this morning's show, but of course, I'm going to show it to you guys again. I'm not going to read the whole thing or go through the whole thing, but this is just page one of them. But in this same one, he says, I sit and think about how I can change what I've done, but no matter how much I'd like to, there's no changing the past. There's grammatically incorrect, but okay. All right. So the future is all that is left to me so that I can change my ways and become a better person. This is literally the letter that he wrote to the judge on October 11th, 2004. He'd been in prison for what, 3-4 years at this time? And he's begging and pleading to get the F out. But what's crazy to me is the stuff that he did whilst being locked up, which we are going to be looking at here very shortly. So last week on his rental property near Henrietta, we already know about the massacre that he orchestrated. Okay. We already know what he has done prior to that as well, or after that. He took his own life as well. No note was found. He was 39 years old. Agents from Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, OSBI, have taken over the case. Finally, now they have. Okay. The lead agent has told the family of one victim they are checking the property for other bodies because they found bone. They found very, very smoking gun. I called it on fire evidence. Stuff was still on fire, not smoking, on fire evidence that would make the OSBI, FBI, everybody, CIA, DEA, ATF, every acronym you can think of to be a part of this search and comb through that entire house. There's enough in there. There's enough red flags throughout that entire house for everybody. Call everyone to be a part of this dig. You dig? The victims who lived with McFadden, we already know, were identified as his wife, Holly Guess, and her children, Riley, Michael, and Tiffany, which we've already seen photos of them, but I will show you a photo of them really quick. All 7 of them together, including the 2, Ivy Webster and Brittany Brewer, that went missing for about 24 hours. And were the reason why they were able to find all of them in the backyard of the McFadden property. Okay. Now, we already know that the 2 other teens were having a sleepover with Tiffany. All right. And of course, we already know they were identified as Brittany and Ivy. Now, a monster in sheep's clothing, McFadden had been free since October 30th, 2020, after serving 16 years, 9 months, and 15 days in prison. His mother picked him up from Joseph Harp Correctional Center in Lexington, and he at first lived in McAllister. He and Holly Guess married in Okmulgee, I can't say that. Okmulgee, okay? And their first anniversary would have been May 26th. Her mother, Janet Mayo, said she met him through an inmate that she was on an inmate pen pal program with. McFadden got Holly's information when he stole pages of the other inmate's address book, the mother said. Now, I know we talked about that this morning, but that's crazy to me that he went and stole his roommate's address book, the information that had Holly's address, just so he can holla. So he can holla at Holly. Real talk. And then as soon as he got free, I'm assuming he got out sooner than the former inmate and started a fast love affair with Holly. Pretty crazy stuff, though. Here's the monster's face again. He has his own TikTok, y'all. It's insane. Anyway, and he started writing Holly, acting all sweet and innocent. He was, as I put it before, a monster in sheep's clothing. He knew how to charm, come off like a perfect gentleman and an angel. Everybody mistreated him. he was misunderstood, see the victim stuff, and that and what he had done was a mistake. She gave second chances where people didn't deserve them. And I got my own theories about that as well, but we're not going to go there right now. The mother also said McFadden paid a woman to impersonate the victim, okay, and to tell Holly, which we already know these pieces, to tell Holly what had happened in 2003 and tell her that it was one big misunderstanding. Right. Okay. He was born in Texas. He dropped out of school there after the 9th grade, according to records. He was living in McAlester when he began to get in trouble with the law, the first time for being in possession of a beer underage. And then he stole from his grandfather 5 days before Christmas in 2002. He was put on probation in 2003 after pleading guilty to a felony, grand larceny in a dwelling house. Now, he straight up stole from his own grandfather. Okay? What kind of human being does that? Okay? Straight up stole money from his own pawpaw. Wait, that doesn't work because that's Alec Murdoch. You know what I'm saying? Okay? From his own grandpawpaw. All right? He also had to spend 90 days in the Pittsburgh County Jail and was ordered to pay $64,000 in restitution. He was caught twice in 2003 driving under suspension. He then committed the R on November 2nd, 2003 at a trailer home in Canadian Shores, about 21 miles north of McAlester. He pleaded no contest to the felony charge just 2 weeks later and was sentenced to 20 years. His probation on the grand larceny case was revoked. Duh. After arriving in prison, he told officials, "I stole $80,000 from my grandpa's safe, blew it on drugs and unnecessary things," according to the records. About his S crime, he said he got spun out on dope, vodka, and an antipsychotic drug, lost control of himself, and R'd one of my friends. He says it. I did this. But it was because of the alcohol. I'm just blaming it on everything else except me just being a deviant, evil human being. Forget that. I'm going to blame it on everything else. Prosecutors told prison officials that he tied the victim by her hands and feet up to a bedpost, cut her shirt off, put a knife to her throat, and threatened to use it if she did not shut up. The victim, Crystal Strong, now 36, has spoken about her ordeal by name to the media since these M's. I was like screaming pretty loud, like, get off me. And I'm like crying. And he said, "If you don't stop screaming, I'll kill you right here," Strong said. She told the Oklahoman he was dating a friend. And they had met only a couple times. She described him as weird. He showed up at her dad's trailer home at 2 or 3 in the morning, banging repeatedly on the door, she recalled. He claimed his girlfriend had broken up with him and he needed a place to stay. I said, "That's not my problem. You need to go home and figure it out. My dad's not here." And then I think I went to shut the door and he pushed his way through. And the next thing I know, I have a sock in my mouth. I was being drugged through the house and I was being tied up to my bed with the whole knife thing. She fled. She escaped. It looks like she escaped from this R. Okay. She recalled being told McFadden was caught by a river and had to his wrists. Okay, certain things I can't say, guys, unfortunately. She moved to Texas. She moved to Kansas afterward. She still lives there. McFadden started getting in trouble in prison. Okay, so they say Jesse McFadden's time in prison marked by trouble. Okay, and this is the part that I'm going to be going into a little bit more of a deep dive with. Okay, just so you guys know, because it just doesn't make any bloody sense at all. Okay. And if you guys can, please do me that favor. Hit that like button down below. Send it past 300 likes. Hit it, hit it, hit it. A like don't cost a thing. That would really, really mean a lot. Send it past 300. That would mean so much to me. Okay. And of course, for those of y'all who are still new to the show, well, welcome to the show. Hi. Hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated as well. Okay. All right. Let's continue on. Absolute monster. But what's crazy to me is he's an absolute monster out in the free world. And then when he becomes a prisoner, a guest of the state, he becomes worse in a way, gradually. But what's wild is how the prison, the government, the Department of Corrections handles this individual. Don't worry, we're going to get into it. Let's go. So, like I said, his time in prison was marked by trouble, which would be a huge dead giveaway of maybe this man is no good. Maybe he needs to stay locked up. Trust me, it starts small and then it gets worse. So let's get started. McFadden started getting into trouble in prison even before he asked the judge for less time. His first misconduct was having tobacco in his cell, which is tobacco. But at the same time, hey, if you're not supposed to have contraband on you, you're not supposed to have contraband on you. So that's bad. Okay. His judge refused in November 2004 to modify his prison time. They said, no bueno. Nope, we're not shortening it. We're not doing anything. You are still staying in prison. Don't care. In 2005, he told a corrections case office manager not to house him any further with black people. The records show. He says, I was raised through the Klan. Yeah, the triple Ks. Yeah. The k. Yeah. A lot of my family is Klan. I am a racial person. I'm thinking he meant racist, but the ignorance is just flowing out of that sentence, isn't it? Moving on. The first S incident in prison, by the way, mind you, let me just blow this up my face up a little bit for a second. This happened whilst in prison, just so you guys know. This is not him out in these streets, kicking rocks, having a good old time, breathing in this freedom air. This happened while he was locked up. Okay, let's continue. So, first S incident was reported in 2009. He was caught naked in a cell with another roommate. There's more. The next S incident was in 2010, a year later, when another inmate accused him of the R word, the very thing he was incarcerated for 20 years for. He's in there doing it again. McFadden admitted to the relationships with the inmate and was disciplined internally, which to me still does not make any sense. Doesn't make any sense, guys. Oh, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. And they just said, well, shame on you. They didn't extend his sentence. What did they have him do as far as discipline? I asked this morning when I read that little snippet a while back off of I Am Legacy's tweet. But I'm sitting here still questioning, what kind of discipline did they give him? Well, he had to work in the mess hall for, a whole month. Like, what are you going to do to a prisoner? That is really going to make them realize that what they did was very bad. so that they actually learn from their lesson. You know what I'm saying? I'm just curious, especially somebody who is a repeat offender. Okay, makes no sense. All right, in 2013, again, still doing things he should be doing. He was caught with a cell phone for the first time. Isn't that funny that they say the first time? They say the first time. So in 2013, he was caught with a cell phone for the first time after a woman reported he had been texting her for 3 months, according to the records. The woman reported she stopped responding after she found out he was in prison. Duh, I think any girl, okay, any, upstanding lady would sit there once they found out, oh, you in prison? Boy, bye. I mean, I would assume that, right? So, finding out he was in prison, she stopped texting him. She said he began sending her threatening texts. How fabulous. He was caught again 3 years later with a cell phone and admitted to the misconduct. Okay. Yeah. So 3 years before, in 2013, he was sending threatening texts to a woman. I'm assuming a grown woman. Okay. 3 years later, he's caught again with the phone. He admits to misconduct. What kind of misconduct? That's something I'd like to know. The second time, it sounds like more like the third. Hold on. Let me make sure that's correct. So this is one, then the two. So this might not be right. The second time, he was also charged in 2017 in Muskogee County District Court with S crimes. He was accused in one felony count of saying what up to a minor, sending images to and from with a minor. Got to use these code words. And in a second felony count of possessing, you can read that, CP. Okay? On the phone were found an S video of a 13-year-old girl and photos of her in various ways. And that's what they said a prison investigator reported. Okay? Now, hold on one second, guys. Uno momento, por favor. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure that I have everything on point. But that was according to a prison investigator. Okay, so that was reported by a prison investigator, that there was an internal investigation. They found out that this is what he was doing with a 16-year-old girl. Also, there were photos of a male exposing himself. Now, 2017 case delayed for years. Was set to start by May 1st. By then, it was too late. Now, I have some notes on this, but I'm going to read this piece right here. Despite those misconducts and others, he completed his sentence under Department of Corrections calculations that gave him credit for such things as good behavior and time spent in jail. That time in jail was 76 days, moving his release date to October 30th, 2020, the Corrections Department said. Don't worry, I'm coming back to this because I got questiones. He was jailed in his 2017 S case after getting out of prison. So he went back to jail, but then he was released from jail on a $25,000 bond, and the case was delayed repeatedly. Now, one thing I'm gonna be hopping back and forth from these last few pages here, because these are the things that I'm confused about. Okay, and I got notes. Okay. So explain to me, somebody needs to explain to me, all right, how a person who is a repeat offender, okay, for example, one, it took 3 years, 3 months, and 1 day since the charge of him having doing the misconduct, like I showed you guys, having this kind of content, possessing this content, trying to talk to someone he shouldn't be talking to, possessing all this stuff on a contraband phone. The day that he was charged with those things in 2017, okay? Well, actually, not in 2017, but it took them 3 years, 3 months, and a day since the charge to actually move this case forward and get this man in front of a judge. So, one of the questions I have is, why was this court date constantly delayed and pushed back for years? Somebody please explain that to me. Especially when you have somebody like Jesse, who is known by the court as a violent offender. And he has a history, even while he's incarcerated, showing countless times that he is a violent individual. He is sending out, even with contraband cell phones and stuff, he is still showing his character. Aside from him R-ing inmates, he is still showing signs of a violent person, a violent offender. He's sending out threatening text messages to a woman. As we said, the woman reported she stopped responding after she found out he was in prison. She said he then began sending her threatening texts. That's problem. That's another problem. That's not even problem number one, but that's still him threatening women via text message, even while he's locked up. Where is the proof of rehabilitation? That's the thing I want to know. Then, on top of that, they say that this guy was a quote unquote level 4 prisoner, which indicates good behavior and accelerated time. So he was a level 4 prisoner. How was he a level 4 prisoner? Throughout the years, he was constantly doing all kinds of stuff. Throughout the years while he was incarcerated, all 16, 17 years that he was locked up, he showed proof positive that he was a dangerous human being, that he was a dangerous man. And yet they looked at him as a level 4 prisoner, when throughout all his time in prison was sprinkled with him showing proof positive that he was a violent criminal. I got more information for you guys that's going to blow your mind. But I'm still wondering why was even so then let's talk about this, okay? We already know this. They showed proof positive that this was a very violent individual. Why did they let him out? Forget level 4. This is somebody who had possession of things, showing no sign of rehabilitation, showing no sign of change. But they said he was a level 4 prisoner. So good behavior and shortening his time while being locked up. Yet all those things that were peppered in throughout his entire stay as a guest of the state shows otherwise. Let me just say that. But then on top of that, him getting kicked out. You're free. Woo! He gets to go home, drink his first real beer instead of that fermented toilet wine he's probably been drinking for the past 16 years. Why didn't they knock on his door and bring him back in even after he was bonded out on the $25,000 bond that he had? Why was he not? Why was the court date that he had constantly delayed for years? That doesn't make any sense either. It doesn't. Moving on. Now, like I said, he was jailed He went to jail and he was bonded out for $25,000. Okay. The case was delayed repeatedly. His jury trial in that case was set to begin on May 1st, this past May 1st. So 9 days ago, he didn't show up. Prosecutors revealed in court filings that at one point, McFadden tried to get the victim to claim he was actually in a secret romantic relationship with one of her older friends. So he was still trying to do a little something, something. He was still trying to finesse his way out of this situation. And of course, this is the property in which all of this carnage and many more things happened on this property here. All that stuff happened behind closed doors. They let a monster out. Questions remain about why convicted R remained free. He also tried to get her to claim she had been talking and texting with another inmate, not McFadden. He was trying to finesse her as best as he could. Prosecutors called McFadden manipulative and controlling. They revealed in court filings he wrote her very spicy letters that they would get married and have children. Okay? McFadden wrote the victim one more time, April 30th, which we already know in these text messages, which he said, I did exactly what I promised I would do when I got out. I got a marketing job, making great money, and was being advanced, being there 2 years now, or been there 2 years now, and made a great life like I promised I would do with you. Now it's all gone, he wrote. I told you I wouldn't go back. This is all on you for continuing this. Of course. And he put all of this in a text message to the victim. In which he was going to trial for. That he was supposed to show up on a Monday for this. Now, the thing is 9 days ago, none of us knew any of this stuff. None of us even knew Jesse McFadden, an Ivy Webster, a Brittany Brewer. I mean that because Monday morning, we did not really know who they were until they went missing. But within their missing and within this tragedy, I'm hoping this unearths some real truths of what's really going on out here in Oklahoma, in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Something dark. There's a dark underbelly going on in Henrietta, Oklahoma, that I don't even think all of us are ready to even stomach. There is so much in that house that I hope OSBI, whoever else who's involved, I'm hoping to God that they do their due diligence and find the truth and bring justice for these young ones and all of the young ones that are potentially either still in that house, around that house, or the ones that went missing. Remember, they found bone. They found bloody clothes. They found items there that show that this person was a very evil human being. Again, I keep asking, how could this offender be out here in these streets free? And I'm telling you right now, and I don't mean this to be like, oh, get ready, it's fear-mongering time, but I need to bring some light into your brain, some realization here, because he's not the only one, y'all. Oh, no. There are other deviant, evil sons of guns out here that have done exactly what he has done, been incarcerated, if not worse, and they're still spat out in these streets, doing terrible things, wreaking havoc on innocent lives. That's the harsh reality that we live in right now. We all need to wake up on that. We really, really do. But again, I keep asking, and I wrote these things down because I was so angry. And I'm sitting there going, why? You're telling me that this man was a level 4 prisoner, which indicates he was a good prisoner, and that he had an accelerated sentence, meaning he was going to get out early. Doesn't make any sense. And then within that charge, it took them years for him to even show up and take full responsibility for his actions. It just doesn't make sense. And I get it, okay? The system is what it is, okay? But you have countless countless court dates that were pushed, countless court dates that were delayed. For what reason? When you know for a fact that you have a violent offender out in these streets among innocent souls walking the streets. And I'm telling you right now, if they did this for good old Jesse, dirty old Jesse, who's to say that they're not doing that for other Jessies in Henrietta or in any other city in this country? You know, it is something to think about. And then the other thing I'm curious about, the mama. I'm very, very curious about the mother. You know, we had Jennifer Coffindaffer, a former FBI agent, Jennifer Coffindaffer, on the show this morning. We had quite an eye-opening piece of information that she dropped on the show, talking about the mother, showing that there could be generational trauma that's been passed down, that maybe the mother might have as twisted of a mind as her kids. Look at Cody, her other son, Jesse's brother, just as demented, just as twisted, just as disturbed. She's posting things on Pinterest. Why is she posting things like that on Pinterest? You know, you're supposed to be showing cupcakes and crochet projects on Pinterest. Why are you showing that kind of stuff on Pinterest? I'm just saying. That makes no sense. And I keep wondering, does she have any hand in this whole thing? Like we talked about earlier, 32 cell phones registered back to Jesse's address. 32 individual cell phones, not 32 phones that he owned, 32 separate individuals registered their phone to his home. And then allegedly, multiple people have walked in and out of that house. Imagine. I mean, I can't even imagine. My brain doesn't go that dark. It doesn't. It's all disturbing, guys. All very disturbing. Yes, we saw this interview, but you're right. His former cellmate, when he learned that Holly was with him and also had children, her children, he contacted the police and did nothing. Now, what's something that I also learned that I found to be very disturbing and interesting, which I think they need to start doing a change with it quickly. Okay. Jesse McFadden, of course, was living with children. And guess what? That was allowed. It's allowed as a step parent who happens to be an SO. Think about that for a second. It's legal. It was legal. He was not breaking any laws by marrying Holly and her having children. As a step parent, he can be married according to the laws and how they are. He could be married, have stepchildren, and be on the registry. That's the other bombshell I wanted to give you guys as well. Can you believe that, Ish? Make that make sense, though. Make it make sense. Something to put in your pipe and smoke on while we wait for more information, while we wait for more revelations. Because this story ain't done yet. This story is most definitely not done yet. Anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Just wanted to give you some knowledge, all right? Just wanted to give you some gems. And I also said that I was going to read this article for you guys, react to it and all. I was going to do it as a pop-up video, but I was like, nah, I'm going to do it live. We're going to do it live as a family because you guys deserve it. And you guys prefer me doing lives, which I've noticed. So F it. Okay. But I am waiting for some more information to drop here very, very soon. Hopefully it does drop within the next hour or so. And when it does, I will be back on for another live. Yes, this train don't stop. I don't stop, Mike. Okay. This thing keeps on trucking. Just keeps on trucking. I'm going the wrong way. Keeps on trucking. Okay? Keeps on trucking. All right. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Please do me a favor. Okay? Hit that like button down below. Please share this as well, because I know some people want to get this article, want to hear the whole doggone mother-loving thing. So please, by all means, do that. Share if you can. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. It'd be great to have you part of the Pascal Show family. There is some more information coming out soon. I'm waiting on it. As long as it comes out sooner rather than later, you'll be hearing and seeing my face very, very soon. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell and hit it to all so that you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it'd be random. All right. Anyway, guys, I will be seeing you guys very, very soon, probably within the next hour. Okay. So stay tight to your phones or your laptops or your TVs, wherever you're watching this show. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video or in the next show, which will probably be in the next hour. Okay? This is the Pascal Show. Bye.